What's up, gang? Carlton Flowers here, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And I've got a quick report today. We're down here on the micro level on the chart on the 4-hour, and then I'm going to jump in on the 1-hour and show you something interesting that I see. So we're going to zoom out to the 1 day, then come to the 4-hour, and then the 1-hour, and I'm going to show you some evidence that I just found that will let us know what this next move could possibly be. And then we'll look in the intermediate short term, and I'll give you a few thoughts of what I have on that also. So let's get rid of that. And we'll start out here on the 1 day, and we'll just zoom in as we go. So on the 1 day chart here, we do see that after this Elon Musk interview deal that just went on yesterday, which I think is what is responsible for this great big fat green candle moving up, breaking out of the top of my descending triangle here. And the stochastic, look at this stochastic. It's actually looking quite healthy, bullish here. Like we're going to come on up, and possibly it's not high up enough on the 1 day to say that this is going to be a short-term peak like what we had here. So this could rise on up, and we could have a break possibly at least to the point of control on the visible range, which sits at 33,699. Now, that's not anything to write home about. That's not super exciting, but it is a possibility that we could move up. Now I'm going to move this, squish this down a little bit and change the visible range on the VPVR, which shows us the most popular price that has the highest trading volume. And that's right here in this big fat node. So the point of control price is at 34,228. That is the most popular node for what you have in the visible range on the chart. And it's a powerful price. And what this means is it can pull the price up, or it can act as a big resistance. So as we're moving up, we want to see Bitcoin make it at least to that POC so we can decide, well, what's going on there? If we make it to the point of control price and the stochastic is absolutely peaked out, I'm thinking we're going to sink back down and bounce off of this $33,000, $34,000 level. But let's zoom in to the 4-hour to see what the evidence says about whether or not we even make it up to that price. Because this MACD, we had a lot of volatility here. It's calming down and it's tightening. Okay, so when we get this crossover of the oscillators on the MACD and we move up, we might just get a little hump here before we go back into the negative bars on the histogram. So here we go. Let's look at the 4-hour and zoom this up a little bit. Here we go. Now I put on a new red box. Do you see this red outline box with the green in it? It's similar to the one that I had up here before. And what that denotes is an area of action that serves as resistance and support. Let's run down the line and see what it has done in the past. Right here, it was resistance. We jumped back up, we broke through it. And after you break through a resistance, it usually flips to support. It did right there, even though we had a couple little trade-off candles here just into the range. So we jump up and then it failed. It blew right through it, but it came back up and it soared all the way through it again, which would mean that it's probably going to be support again. We see that it was right there after we sailed all the way through it. Then we jump up and down, and it's still support here as we bounced off of that range. Coming up again, down, up, down, support once again. Now you see here, we didn't really break through the zone, so we don't have a sign that it flips. We had a little bit of a wick that almost made it through the bottom of it, but the candles on the 4-hour stayed within that range, so we moved up again. Now here we see this red candle violated the space. All right, it went completely through it, which says, all right, it's probably going to turn into resistance again. Lo and behold, it sure did right there. So when we failed it and we came back up, it is resistance. There it is. Resistance again right here. Now notice that we've come back up after the Elon interview and we're back up into the range. What is it going to be this time? Well, this red wick here, it looked like we were going to go straight through it, and we did not. So the Elon Muskrat interview did not give it enough gas to blast through it and rise above the point of control price. And here we sit. Are we going to make it up through here, or are we going to bounce down? Now, this is where I'm going to jump into the 1 hour chart just to see if we have evidence of whether or not we get enough momentum to break through this resistance zone. So let's turn drawing mode off. Let's clear this out first, and then we will jump into the 1 hour. Zooming in, stretching this out. Notice I've got another little miniature triangle on the micro level. On the 1 hour, see the gray triangle? We have a little wedge here. That's a pennant formation. And this could be a bull flag or it could be a bear flag on the micro level. Notice how we came all the way up and the wick ends here at the top of the resistance zone. And we come back down, we wicked to the bottom of it. Then we did this little seesaw action and now we've jumped up here. So that is why I've drawn in this pennant that could give us clues of when a break could be coming. So with this pennant, now we see that we are getting some action within the micro level, which could mean that a break is coming. Where's the break going to go? Is it going to go up like this at the end, or is it going to go down like that? Well, first of all, notice that the stochastic here is about to peak, and we are sitting at the top of this triangle. I don't know if this is going to push through. For a minute there, it looked like we were, and then it calmed down and started to turn into a wick, and now it's pushing back up to test that upper triangle boundary yet again. But what is the stochastic doing? It's kind of rounding off a little bit, and we did have this possible crossover about to happen on the MACD oscillator, but it lags behind the stochastic. So I don't know yet what is going to happen here. We do know that the histogram got a little bit more action, but still is relatively low. So what I am going to look for here on the 1 hour close, do we get a red candle after we touch here, or do we break up to this side to head back towards this top end of this resistance and support zone that we have drawn out? If we do get to the top of it, it's probably going to end right here at this volume node. And so what is the price of that volume node? It is at 32,282, 32,845, about right there. Now, we're going to need some power to move up above this volume node on the 1 hour, okay, because it's very small and the point of control on the 1 hour is still down here at around 31,800. So this is going to have a little bit more gravitational attraction, this big fat node, than what we have up above. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is this: 1, we flop back down, or 2, we do break above this, and right now, as we're speaking, this 1 hour candle is above that line. So this is what could happen. We could head up here. So that's going to be the critical point. Do we bounce off the top as we did right here in this resistance zone, or do we flip it and it becomes support? All eyes are on the top of this zone because we have a confluence with the top of the zone at this volume node, a break of this triangle, but then we got to rise above it right here. We would have to move up into this zone before we know that we can have some further upside action. And if we don't, this is the two things that could happen. We reject here and come back down, seesaw around and maybe fall out of it, or we break up and try to test it again. So it's going to take a day or so, maybe within the next 24 hours, that we are going to know. Now, let's get back out to the 1 day so I can show you the intermediate of what could happen after we get done with this little bitty micro triangle. So once we zoom out and look at the overall, here's the same picture that we have been looking at all along, where now that we have zoomed out to the 1 day, depending on how you look at this, when we zoom way out, the point of control is far below. When we zoom in, it's right here smack dab in the middle. So we just have to fool around. And notice that as you change the visible range, the point of control price changes, and the histogram bars on the VPVR volume profile, they change. But when we look at this as we're scrolling dynamically, it gives us good clues so we can know what the possibilities are. So let's just keep it right here in the middle where the POC is right here at 33,822. Let's look at the evidence of what could happen after this break. Now that we see it here, breaking through this resistance is just nothing to write home about yet because we still have the point of control that we can bounce off of. And I don't think that it's evidence that will make it back up here to the 50 EMA or the 200 EMA. We're trading below both of those lines right now, which means we're still in a bearish downtrend. So if this fails on the micro level, let's see if I can I'm going to have to zoom in a little closer. Well, we'll just leave it here. If we fail here after we meet the top of this little zone of resistance and support, if we don't make it through that, the next possibility is here at this volume node, and then it's here. And then I think that this 19 is actually the lowest. The most probability would be, say, these three. So let's see what the prices are of those three possibilities. Well, the first one is the one I've been always talking about, 27,000. The second one is around 23,000. We hear a lot of people on YouTube talking about those two levels. And worst case scenario with least probability is this one down here at like what, 19, 18. And there is a CMA gap down here at this level that we could come back and try to fill a CME gap there. I think there's another one somewhere here, but I can't remember. So I believe that these are the greatest possibilities. And the only reason is because we are still in an overall bearish trading channel. The momentum is this way. It is not this way yet. It doesn't mean that something can't happen and we can reverse, because anything can happen. And if we do reverse, we could be revisiting this big volume node up here somewhere around, let's see what that price is on this node. We've got a fat one there at 49 and we got another one right here at 47. What happens if we make it up there? Well, even if we do, let's say price makes it up into this zone. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that we're clear for takeoff, because we're still in an overall downward trending bearish channel. In order to call this change in direction, we have to take out this previous high and the all-time high. Then it's clear skies. We can sail on. So there is a chance that we come out of this and it proves me wrong and we jump up into this zone, into this box, and we could finish the job and come back down here. So overall, I think there's some money to be made. If we break out of this, I'll probably start buying and do a swing trade and then see if we can make it up here to this big one. And I'll probably sell everything again if the stochastic is looking something like this. Let's say we make it all the way up here and the stochastic goes all the way up to the top. If we're fooling around up here, well, that's going to be my signal that I'm going to sell in this zone and wait until this stochastic completes one more full cycle. And then at that point, maybe, this is speculation, maybe the next stochastic cycle is the one that gets us into the bull run. And notice that it could come somewhere around the, say, October area. That's just my guess. None of this is financial advice. It's an idea. And keep in mind, I'm just playing this thing as the chart gives us more information. And I'm not making predictions. I'm not giving trading advice. I'm a regular guy. I'm not shilling Bybit links or asking you to join something. I'm sitting on the sidelines and I'm calling the game as I see it. So I'm neutral. I don't have a stake in this in one way or the other, and I'm not trying to influence anybody, but just sharing my thoughts so we can get some discussion on. I'd love to hear from you of what you think about all this and what you think is going to happen in the short term. So let's keep our eyes. Let's clear this and let's just end up back here. Let me go back to the 4 hour. let's just end it here where we are watching the action for right now in this area here. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about this tomorrow and see what happened as we have this secondary little peak here. And do we just have a red candle forming? Let's zoom in here. Did that just happen while I'm talking? Let's see. Yeah, there is. Okay, we've got a red candle there. Let's zoom into the 1 hour and see if, oh, it's on the 1 hour also. Maybe it's a reverse. This will be fun. We'll have to watch this for the rest of the day and see if it's sit and wait a while because we go down, or if we blast off and get a chance to maybe get a swing trade in and make a little extra lunch money. That's all I've got for now. Like and subscribe, share it with a friend, post in the comments and let me know your thoughts. And I'm out.